At the World Economic Forum here at Davos, Manoj Menda, the chairman of the Supervisory Board of RMZ, is engaging global investors on India's real asset story. Thank you so much, Mr. Menda, for speaking with us. I think to begin with, what we need to know, what our viewers need to know, is about how India is positioned in this shifting landscape, specifically because looking at the challenges China is going through and also the US office market corrections. So tell us India's story here.
You spoke about China and the United States, so we'll give some context to that. But thank you, Ambika, for inviting me. China has gone through some, systematic changes right now. I think the entire real estate sector is overheated. It has a debt which is probably as large as the Indian economy in just commercial real estate. So I think that's, to me, it's a bit fractured at this point in time.
Okay.
And if you look at the US real estate, the secondary markets, there's been close to a 40 to 50% correction in pricing. What does that say for India, right? So when you look at India and you look at real estate, you look at it from a different lens. You first look at it macro. Macro, we're doing very well, 6 to 7% growth. Then you look at it from a geopolitical, and we have the best geopolitical relationships. We have great leadership, so that's another big tick mark. And then you start looking at how deep is the real assets market in India. It's barely, I would say 5 to 6% of GDP. That's probably less than half of what the US contributes in real estate to GDP, and China contributes 25% to GDP in terms of real estate. So India is really at this pivotal moment where I think if we make the right decisions, deploy the right long-term capital, and governed with the right public policy which the government has put in place, I think we're actually just in the beginning of something which is going to be very, very dynamic for us.
Like you rightly said, everybody working together, whether it's policy or coming together. So collaboration, obviously, Mr. Menda, is key here. I want to ask you about public institutions and public capital, right? That's increasingly being asked to collab, especially when it comes on the nation-building scale. What is your take on that?
Urban infrastructure is a very long-term game, right? So it's not something where you deploy capital and you expect to recycle it within 5 or 6 years' time. So in most markets where you deploy capital, the horizon is a 5 to 7 year horizon. But in India is no longer an emerging market, right? I mean, to me, it's a very developed market and it's developing. And like I said, we're at the cusp of much greater things to come. So if you're going to be deploying capital into India and urban infrastructure, you have to have a 10 to 15 year horizon, whether it's in real estate or infrastructure. And that needs to dovetail with public policy, right? And if you look at public policy today, I think every state is doing the right things in terms of bringing in foreign direct investments into, whether it's into data centers, which is probably the hottest asset class today, whether it's into global capability centers that India is best known for, thanks to the services economy. So all of these need to come in together, right? It's a combination of public policy, the services sector, capital inflows, and the right mindset within real estate. All of this is going to get India to
And I think I want to add to that, and top up to it is about digital infrastructure. That's also, we've seen the build-up has really accelerated. Again, what change or what shift do you think that can bring or is bringing onto the table?
I think if you look at the amount of data that India generates, it's 20% of the world data, right? We have close to 900 million digital internet users. Now, this is only telling you that you cannot but ignore India when it comes to data, right? We're generating the large amount of data. Even though we're 20% of the world's data, the amount of data center capacity we have is barely 2 or 3%. We barely have about 1 gigawatt of capacity right now operational in India, and that's expected to grow to about 7 or 8 gigawatts. Now, that's a huge amount of capital investment coming in, right? So if you move from 1 to 7, you're talking of investments that could be in excess of $100 billion just in data center capacity alone. So I think that's going to be the next game changer for us, right? Especially us at RMZ. We're investing into data centers, and we're not just doing data centers, we're doing AI factories as well. So that's offering GPU as a service. So I think one needs to look at digital infrastructure as a core infrastructure. It's a very critical infrastructure as far as we're concerned. And India is just on the tip of the iceberg in terms of what it can provide for the rest of the world.
Okay, and lastly, at Davos here, World Economic Forum, the theme is Spirit of Dialogue. Any plans, any specific agenda?
No, I think it's going to be a great week ahead, a great week of partnerships. You spoke about public-private partnerships. I think the moment of truth is now for us. We want to collaborate with various state governments in India. We want to fuel the various state economies. Apart from that, we want to look at global capital that's looking at India. So a lot of partnerships around global capital, fueling growth in various states that we can possibly do. And I think these would be probably my two focal areas for this year.
Well, wishing you all the very best and enjoy the rest of the time at
Thank you,
Davos.
Ambika.
Thank you so much. Pleasure meeting you.
Great.